I figured since I make fun of so many of your bags, might as well go back in time to see the awful mistakes that I used to make. And yes, there was lots of them. Time to roast my first ever in the bag. To start, why the hell did I think anyone would watch this? For context, I was 17, sponsored by Innova, and my max distance was about 400 feet. But if I was being honest, we'll call it 350. Oh yeah, and I was f***ing dumb. Now that you're caught up, let's see the damage. I might have sucked at putting, but at least I was using an acceptable putter. Back then, half of disc golfers used P2s, and I'm talking the Innova-made ones, not the bullshit they try to pawn off today. If you haven't heard by now, I have small hands, so finding a throwing putter that feels good is difficult. But hey, at least it makes my dick look bigger when I'm jerking it. I'm still trying to find the line for my jokes. Don't think I found it yet, but I'll keep trying. Don't be fooled. The Bullfrog is a solid putter. Super shallow and out the box can handle lots of power without turning. The issue is, once you hit a tree, the disc is toast. I remember having a stack in my room that I would replace after seeing enough tree hits. Now I learned, just put more hyzer on it, but I wasn't smart enough for that type of knowledge yet. The Aviar X3 is possibly the worst overstable approach disc ever made, so of course I had one in the bag. The Toro wasn't around then, so my options were the Pig and Aviar X3, which was newer at the time. You guys know my stance on the Pig, so it was an obvious choice, although both were pretty awful. And the only reason the Rhino was in the bag was because I found it. I seriously don't think I ever even threw it. I mean, it was DX and beat to shit after all. The Mako 3 was the first disc I ever bought myself. You better believe the first thing 15-year-old me did was draw Kirby on that shit. That's my last name if you're wondering why the hell I would do such a thing. That disc traveled me for years. Not always in the bag, but somehow made it with me to college. And when showing my friend the sport, it would soon be the go-to disc I would let him use for rounds. This is a good time to write that down in case you're looking for a straight to understable mid that any disc golfer can get to go the intended flight. The cooler story was one day when Noah was tossing with me, only 3 months into him playing disc golf, he smacks an ace with it. Without any question, that disc was immediately his and will forever hang on his wall. I love that full circle disc golf moment, and I'm happier to tell that story than have the disc, because honestly, I probably would have lost it by now. Fun fact, it's been exactly 365 days since that ace. Shout out Noah, go shotgun a Twisted Tea for me. I think my hate for mid-ranges started here, when I tried to convince myself the Rock 3 felt good in my hand. Is this disc wider than most, or did it really just feel that shitty? Worst part is, I didn't even get this disc. Young me just took whatever free disc I was handed and made it work. Fuck you, Swiss, for ruining my mid-game for this long. I did like the aesthetic of my DX Rocks though. I even fell for the Huck Lab trap. I will say, old people loved me on the course, so made it worth it. Want to know another disc that I never threw? The Cayman. And if you guessed it was a gift, you'd be correct. I just can't get down with overstable mid-ranges, which I hate saying now because that means I was throwing the Aviar X3 a lot. Ah shit, I just remembered Gatekeeper posted this ace video of mine way back when. Fuck, I also forgot the cringiest ace of all time was with this stupid disc. Want to know what makes this even worse? It was featured back in the old Innova commercials, so I had to watch it back in all sorts of coverage. A disc that is still in my bag is this signed FD by Simon Lizotte himself. And yes, it's an Innova-made one. I'm not stupid. It's cool enough to throw a signed disc, but one of the first collegiate practices, I smacked an ace with it. So not only is this disc signed by Simon, but the rest of my college team from freshman year. That disc will never leave my sight, or someone might get killed. Oh yeah, and I threw this Luster FD for some reason, ended up losing it on the easiest hole of the course. And I say lost loosely, I just forgot it. That should show you how much I cared about it. Why the hell did I stop bagging the T-Bird 3? I really am dumb. The Roadrunner is a great understable driver that requires little effort to go extremely far. A workhorse in the woods for hyzer flips, but I never did any of that. Instead, I tried forcing rollers so I could be cool, or in reality, it was the first die I did and wanted it in the bag. Which is weird, because that's probably the worst die I've ever seen in my life. No wonder I stopped trying that. I bagged this sick Rainbow Thunderbird that would actually be the only disc I would throw on the days I would skip high school and go to the course. But my favorite is when I lost it, I was super bummed, and I'm stubborn and refuse to mark my disc. Feels weird to claim my discs. I treat them as a partner, not their master. But I did used to write little stars when I would chain out for an ace, so that disc was filled with them. Consider these tattoos, and no, don't start comparing, I had consent. I was playing in a tournament and noticed a rainbow disc that looked awfully similar, but I didn't want to accuse anyone of anything. It was on the 18th hole when I walked over to it on the ground, and sure enough, there were all the stars. Yeah, I was a bitch and didn't say anything, because it had been months since I lost it, or my mind was blown, which is how I'm going to tell the story from now on. However, at the time to compliment the Thunderbird, I had a flat as Firebird for something with more overstability, and that disc did the trick for sure. Too bad it was in my bag for like a month, if that. My max distance disc at the time was a DDX, and I highly recommend it to anyone who throws 350 and is looking for something with more turn with low effort shots. You don't need a fast arm to get this disc to turn and go a long way. When you master the DDX, then you can start checking out faster stuff. Half of people bagging DD3s need one of these. But you already know I was on the Destroyer train for real. I should not have been doing this, but the first run Sakibot Destroyers were the best run ever. Flippy out the box and wanted to go forever. This is one of the only modes I try to get more of. Well, right now I have 0, so hit your boy up. For real, the best run of Destroyers for the common disc golfer to get to fly the farthest. But if you want something beefy, the Macbeth 4x are money. I love how inconsistent Destroyer runs are. It makes it so much more fun. I don't care what anyone says. Last up, I had a strike. I don't even think back then I could tell you why it was in my bag. Well, that was pretty bad, but it was fun to go down memory lane. This was the first of 8 in the bags I have archived in my old YouTube channel. So if you want to see part 2 sooner rather than later, smack the like button. I'll tell you what, if this video hits 200 likes, I'll start writing it. But until then, I hope I remember. Okay, it was fun to shit on myself for a bit, but I needed to be humbled. And with as much trash as I threw, it needed to be done. Enough of that though. I gotta dog someone else now. And I'm sorry, Jackson, but you did ask for it. He says he can throw 350 to 400 foot easily, yet claims to push 553. Not sure how the fuck that works, but downhill doesn't count. Just kidding, of course. Just like you were when you're saying there wasn't anything to roast in your bag. So let's see the shit. I mean, discs. My bad. But come on, you putt with a disc called Cash. I'm wondering if Hooligan let some middle schooler name their discs, because holy shit, it screams an 11-year-old wearing nothing but neon green and pulled up Nike Elite socks to the knees. But seriously, I would have a hard time not making fun of you for using those, and just know everyone on your card whispers cash to themselves after you miss. It was bad you were putting with them, but why do you need to throw them? Personally, I'm anti-throwing the same mold as your putter because it's boring to be the same every time. But hey, if you like Missionary that much, I won't hate. I will hate on the A3 though. If there was a wheel that would dictate your overstable approach disc, this wouldn't even make it on. Spin the wheel again and get yourself a respectable frisbee. Another Hooligan disc. They better be paying you. Oh, turns out they are. But I've never seen someone bag this many of their discs before, at least for free. To be fair, I didn't realize they had this many molds until your bag. But whose bright idea was to call a disc a rope? Don't even give me some shit about, it's like when you throw a disc on a rope. No, that shit's dumb. And if you're trying to tell me with a straight face, I'm gonna smack it off you. The MD3 is mid. As in, not good. I just can't get over the stupid names. Nothing about MD3 makes me think I want to give this disc a try. And no, the Iron Samurai doesn't count, because then I have to pay an extra $15 just to pretend I'm in the cool kids club. Even though it's more like the group of kids hanging out inside during recess. You got a Cayman though. If that's the disc I'm giving you props for, you should be nervous. Well, at least your first fairway is a Sexton Firebird, and since you didn't specify the year, I'm gonna assume it's this year's. Do yourself a favor and get the 2021 run. Best sex you can get your hands on. I'm glad you're smart enough to get another Firebird to make sure you have something overstable, and getting a flat as one is even better. I've been saving this opinion for a special day, so here it is. I don't like the Eagle. If I want a disc that I can throw hard without worrying about it turning over or going too far in my target, I'll just throw a T-Bird 3. That being said, I don't have much bad to say about it, and same goes for the old PD. I will say the Innova made ones are better than the new ones, but you could say that about nearly every Discmania mold nowadays, and I'd agree with you. Look at that, another Hooligan disc. I'm starting to think this is an advertising play, and whatever you're getting, I would like a percentage at this point. It seriously seems like they gave all the 12-year-old boys at a birthday party Mountain Dew and wrote down whatever the hell they were yelling. I mean, the next discs are Yeet and Vibe. Tell me I'm wrong. Or this is the first company trying to market to the younger generation, which if that's the case, they fucked up. These are words your grandma would try to say to stay hip, yet the secondhand embarrassment is worse than watching someone throw a Zone OS. Jackson says the Wraith is his bomber disc, which if that's the case, you're a smart man, and I take back everything I said. Yeah, that was a lie. Kinda like you saying your Heimbird Destroyer is just stable. I know that shit has more beef than Arby's Meat Mountain. Who are you kidding? Finally, a boss, just in case of headwinds, and I'll assume possibly flex forehands. Shout out to Jackson for letting me roast his bag, and who knows, maybe I'll have to get my hands on Hooligan and give it a fair shot. If you laughed, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It's the easiest way to support the channel, and if you want your bag roasted, make sure to comment down below, and maybe sometime I'll do it. Oh, and if you want to see me roast more subscribers in the bags, check out the video right here.